Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. I guess a lot of people are wondering whether Silverlight is just screaming nonsense into the air or whether he actually does have any sort of information. Well, Bell Canada shareholder report for the third quarter of 2021. I get this stuff mailed to me because I'm a shareholder. Remember what I said before about shareholders? Yeah, shareholders are chumps. The guys who make the money are the ones that swap bonds. But I didn't know that back in the day when I got these shares. They've appreciated nicely, and I don't mind the inside information. So we're going to go through a little bit of that inside information today. Now, the good news is what I'm sharing isn't really a trade secret. I'm not under any of the NDAs or anything that prevents me from sharing it with you. There's nothing, well, what I'm going to show you is completely free information, and I intend to use it as such. Also, there's nothing here that can be traced back to me in any way, shape, or form. So let's get into the juicy stuff. How do you think Bell Canada is doing? Let's turn to our, let's try turning to our income statements, because that's what everybody wants to know. Okay, so let's look at the first line because that's what the shareholders are going to look at. Let's see if I can get that in here. So, operating revenues. That's the money that you're going to make. So, you see, in the quarter three of this year, we got 5,099 up from 4,924 last year. Huh, that's good. Making more money. Change 175 million. By the way, this is all in millions. They just do shorthand like that because Bell Canada is not making $175 more than they did last year. Trust me on that one. That is broken on service and product, blah, 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 etc. Now, in terms of product, they're slightly down. But overall, they've made 175 million and lost 126 million. The loss is offset. Not a big deal. Where it gets interesting is this next line. Operating profit has gone up by 3.6%, but this loss indicates a 14.6% loss, which is because the number here of the income is so much larger that this affects a smaller amount of it. But a skilled person can go through, and either through accounting, go to a politician, we can say, oh, we've lost 14.6% in one of our divisions this year, and it's our product, so we're losing money on that. This is a number you can sensationalize. A loss is never a loss to a mega corporation. As much as they might protest, losses are good for them. And this is basically what all these numbers come down to is they come down, they break the numbers down, they basically tell the shareholders, they're there, everything's okay, we're doing good. See, same thing down here. You've got your cash flows for operating activities. Now here they're showing a loss. See, a 15.9% loss. Well, that's interesting because up here, service and potential was a net gain. Yet down here, they're showing a loss. That's because creative accounting. They can make anything into a loss. And notice that they have their capital expenditures. These brackets, by the way, mean a negative. So this not having brackets, that means they made that much money. The negative in the brackets means they lost that much money. I'm sure most people know that, but for people who are not used to reading these statements, yeah, brackets, you don't want to see brackets. You want to see positives. But this is okay. The overall cash flow, the free cash, which is important, that's the stuff you have to spend on other products. They got 571 million lying around. 571 million. So remember, these are all in millions, so that's $1.7 billion flowing in. It's a hell of a lot of money, but it's Bell Canada. You're not going to find much bigger. Oops. I had a couple pages selected. So here, net debt. Here we have some interesting categories. Debt due within 1 year, $1 billion. Now that's actually good. It's down from $2.5 billion. They've lost 42.3% of their debt due within a year. It's fantastic. Think about that if you were going through that. If you were going to have 47% less debt next year than you did this year, you'd be celebrating. Not so with Bell Canada. Long-term debt, which is the stuff anything over a year, it's 27 billion. They've gone through 27 billion, which is up from 23 billion, a net increase of 3.164. So somehow they wound up increasing their long-term debt. Not a good number. So your stuff being paid off within 1 year has gone down, but you've just transferred into long-term debt. Preferred shares. Please note, I do not have a preferred share. This is something that has just come out. And you notice it's the same amount. I'm not a preferred share person. Cash out and cash equivalents. They've taken out $2 billion. Yeah, right there. They just walked away with it. And trust me, my dividends are not the reason why. So overall, they've accumulated $28 billion in debt. That's B with a B. Outstanding share data. This is just, people not taking advantage of their share options and stuff like that. But that's what is in a shareholder package. Their Bell Media results, their total revenues. It's really a breakdown. Pretty much everybody, unless you have some sort of supreme interest in a given category, everybody looks at the front page, starts comparing numbers, looks over the percentage. Okay, we're growing. Fantastic. Bottom line, adjusted EPS or a free cash flow. This is what you want to see. You never want to see a bracket around the bottom number. This bracket is okay. This bracket is not. Most corporations have something similar to this. And this is some of the information I get and I use when I'm putting together my shows. I don't always have it ready to hand. Some of it comes online. But this is what the 1% does. Or rather, this is what the accountants and the financial advisors for the 1% do. The 1% have already made their money. They don't care. It's like this 571 billion. It's going to, 571 million, not billion. That's billion. That's a million. 571 million is going to sit in Bell Canada's accounts and is probably going to be plowed into something so they can continue showing a debt. Because this is what they want their shareholders to look at. And the net debt is what they want their accountants to look at. Now the question is, what I go through, I haven't really gone through all the whole package. I've gone through it a couple times just so I get the general sense of it, is why long-term debt has increased. It's only by 3.164%, but that to me would say that you're investing money back into the company somewhere. You're taking out a loan to modernize infrastructure. You're making sure that proper people, some lawsuits are taken care of. You're adopting debt because in Bell's case, maybe you want to buy a sports team somewhere. Maybe you want to open a new streaming service for yourself instead of CTV getting all the money. And who knows? Like I said, I haven't really gone through the whole thing. They don't announce absolutely everything. This is just raw data. But just shows Silverlight does know what he's talking about. And he's been reading these reports for decades at the present time. Now it's making me think of my actual age. But this stuff is freely available online. You can get a hold of it if you need it. It's really quite boring. Also does this sort of discussion and analysis, blah, 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 and you'll go to sleep halfway through. There are occasionally interesting tidbits in there, but yeah, very rarely. So yeah, Silverlight showing you what happens when you look at a shareholder's report. Maybe if I get some of my bond shares, I'll do that too, but this stuff is incredibly dry. I'll be impressed if anybody watches the video, much less makes it all the way through. But shareholder reports, interesting, provided you want to see how companies make money, and yeah, that's about it. Other than that, most people who get these only care that their dividend checks arrive. Well, we hope you enjoyed this video, as excruciating as it must have been to listen to it, but we appreciate you listening to it. If you did, please hit the like button. Feel free to share the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we hope you have a fantastic day.